Very soon, I'll be closing the doors to my.
Hey there, everybody. You may get a blast. My speakers were on, so chill. So, who all we got in here? Good morning, Artie. Loud and clear. Good. We were drowning out thunder. Won't say no more. Hi, Jeremy. Hi, Kathleen. Y'all ready for today? I'm trying to be. I really am. I'm tired. We had storms all night last night, and Mia does not like any fireworks, thunder, rain, tires, trash bags, any kind of noise. And yeah, last night it was like, she's in there sleeping now. She's laying up in the window, sound asleep. She's so lucky. I'll take a nap later. Yeah, we're due for some more tonight. I'll be glad when this stuff settles down. But this is better than running from hurricanes. I'll be honest with you. We can tolerate up to about 75-mile-an-hour winds, and then we got to be worried. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Tracy. Oh, don't worry about things. Don't worry about it at all. Huh? Early bird, huh? Yeah, I hope we have a easy hurricane season this year. But Jeremy, I don't think we're going to. They say the Atlantic's going to get it this year. Hi, Carol. My ears are itching this morning. They're driving me nuts. Hi, Anna. The rains wash through the air, then it warms up, and then the dust comes back. And yeah, it's a vicious circle right now. Oh, we got 14 people watching. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up. It helps our algorithm. Yeah, I know it. We always get that season. No, we're right. We're getting storms, but as I was saying earlier, we can withstand up to 75-mile-an-hour winds. We know what to do. We fill up all the tanks, pull in the slides, and hunker down. We park the truck on whatever direction the wind's coming on the sides, and the truck blocks the rig. As long as it's got something to break the wind, it doesn't hurt us. If we're pointed dead into the wind, we don't even feel it. You have to realize we weigh about 30,000 pounds. What kind of order did you get, Kathleen? We've been doing this, Kathy, for 5 years now. Now, I look at it this way, Pam. If it's my time to go, I can be sitting in a car and it'll, I'll go. I could be sitting in a brick house and I'll go. When it's your time to go, you're going to go. And I've been through a bad car wreck already, so I can't get hurt any worse. So, I mean, let's look at it logically. Hi, Robin. Yeah, that's Barb for you. She's always throwing in something extra. I ordered the rest of the colors myself. I really like the way that thread tats. I have to say, I do like the way it tats up. Okay. Sounds like a winner chicken dinner, Anna. Well, thank you. I got all the bridals, all the bridesmaids, the maid of honor, best man, the groomsmen, and all the corsages done. And I got news for you. As soon as I put that last one together, I said, please get these leftover flowers out of here. Get them out of my way. I had flowers when I was teaching class around my feet. Do you know how hard it is to move and get to stuff when you got flowers everywhere? Honestly, felt like I walked into a florist. Yeah, I've still got a lot more to do. I got a bridal bag I'm working on. I've got her jewelry I'm doing. And I also have her veil that I'm doing. The veil is one that comes below the elbow and it's up here from the base all the way around. It's 147 inches. So, yeah, it's a job, but she's worth it. Thank you, Anna. Uh, Aurora, how are you? We're glad you came, Aurora. You're our little sunshine. I'm doing good. I got all the flowers done. I'm a happy girl. I posted them, or had Pam post them up in the group so you could see them. Now, I got some news for you guys. Guess who's going to be at Tat Days this year? Again, Miss Georgia. She says her and Richard are doing really great and they're coming to Tat Days. Now, I don't know if we'll do an interview with her or not. If she doesn't feel like it, I won't do it. Okay, but I'll bring the camera gear just in case. And if she does, great. September the 2nd? Yeah, September 2nd. That's what it is. I got dates running around. I got birthdays coming up. I got 6 grandchildren. I found out I missed my granddaughter's birthday 2 days ago. It's been a zoo here, let me tell you. Yes, you're right, Anna. Well, she is a pleasure to be around. You know, if y'all get a chance to go and see her, please do. Please do, because she is so much fun to be around. And she's so funny. I mean, she keeps you laughing. Uh, anytime you can get them to me, send them. Because I'm taking stuff up July the 4th weekend. And then we're going to be making trips back up there throughout that time, because as I get stuff made, I have to take it to her. I don't want to ship any of it because I'm afraid it'll get damaged. If you knew the postman that we have, I'm waiting on a handy hands order that I ordered last Thursday. It has went to the same post office twice so far. It has to do that 2 more times before it'll come to me. I could walk to that post office. That's how close it is. So yeah, it's a problem. But you just deal with it. When you're on the road like this, you just deal with it. And the post office that was here was in an older home. I mean, we're talking 1910s or older. And it was an old frame house, and they converted it into a post office because this is a really super small town. There's like 3,000 people here, and we're 2 of that 3,000 and a dog. And so when the hurricanes came through here and did all that destruction, that post office got damaged. So they was going to put in a new one. The people here said, no, we want that one. So they're going to fix that one. June 19th. Yeah, it's probably an error. It shouldn't be June 19th. I punched the wrong button. Sorry, I was up all night last night and the night before. I'll fix it after class. That'll be fine, Anna. That'll be fine. Yeah, it's my error. I was half asleep, folks. I've been half asleep now for about 3 days. Teresa can tell you all about it. It has been cray here. So we got a few more minutes. Let everybody get in here and get settled in. You were supposed to catch it, Pam. You was up and spry this morning. I was taking a nap. Trying to. Miss Mia agrees that I shouldn't have one when it's raining and thundering and lightning. She says I shouldn't sleep. I should sit there and hold her. And I should hold her very close so that she can stand on my head. That's just the way we roll. If y'all seen her when it's stormy outside, it would blow your mind. She shakes so much, her whole body's doing this. And she's tiny. I mean, she'll just vibrate herself right out of yarns. She's hiding right now under the couch, I think. She was up in the window because the sun come out. Yeah, 4th of July we're dreading because she doesn't like fireworks either. So, but anyway, it is now 3 o'clock. It is time to get started today. Got some announcements to make. I told y'all in the email we'd take extra time to finish this doily if need be. Okay? If storms come in, we're cutting it off real fast. Okay? Because we got to batten the hatches. We've got all the slides out and all that stuff. All that has to come in, and it takes time to get that stuff in. So, with that said, the announcements are, thank you, Kathy, for your wonderful donation. It does help the classes immensely. Every dollar counts. If you can't donate financially, I understand. That's fine. Watch those commercials, okay? Now, YouTube has made an offer to me. I can do a commercial during the middle of class, okay? And it's a high dollar paid commercial, all right? But it will be a lengthy commercial. So I was thinking, come the fall, when we start the classes for the next season, okay? I'm going to run a commercial, but we're going to have classes an hour and a half long, which means we can either back them up 30 minutes or extend them 30 minutes. Either way, it doesn't matter. Let me know what you would prefer. If you prefer it starting earlier, say yay, we want it earlier. If you prefer it starting or ending later, say later. Okay. I know that on the East Coast, people have dishes to do, house to clean, laundry to do, and supper to cook. Okay. We all understand that. I don't want to interfere with anybody's daily habits. I have regimented medicine. I mean, I have to take it every 2 hours like clockwork. Okay. So I have to stop what I'm doing and take my medicine. If I don't, then I have to go to the hospital. I don't like that place. Hi, Harala. So just let me know. Give me a shout and say, yeah, before or after extended the extra half hour. You will get the full hour of my time. But if I can make more money on commercials during class, that helps on the back end. Okay. But I'm willing to do whatever is necessary for you guys. All right. So with that thought in mind, think about it. Let me know. It's not until September. All right. Next thing I want to discuss with you all. The website. I'm working on it. My tech support husband, he is changing things up. You're going to see a lot of changes happen to the website. Y'all have probably, those of you that are subscribed to the channel, you've probably been getting a lot of pop-ups saying I'm putting up new videos. I am not. YouTube contacted me and said, you got way too many playlists and too much stuff in each playlist. And it was confusing the algorithms. So I had to go in there and fix everything and set it up the way YouTube says it needs to go. Okay. So you may still be getting notifications on things that have changed with the channel. Now, during that process, I found a ton of videos for needle tatters that I did way back in the day, okay, that were not up on, they were on the site, they were not public. So, be sure to check them out. All you that are needle tatting as well, check out the needle tatting videos I put up. They were not public. They were private. Why they were, I don't know. So if you see a problem with them, let me know. I didn't review them because 278 videos later, I was like, yeah, out of it. So check out those. Well, Aurora, if you arrive late, that's fine as long as you arrive. It's important that you show up. That way I know you're okay and everything's good. All right? So that's the deal. Just show up. But yeah, check them out. Okay? And it's needle tatting videos mainly. All right? There was a couple of shuttle tatting videos that were not up either. And I don't know where they came from. They may have been some that we had found in the files that Georgia had not approved yet. And it was there at the end, went right before she retired. So with that said, y'all ready? Let's get down here. All right. I see some lag going on. I apologize for that. Y'all have to remember. Let me check and see where the black cloud is. Way over there. Okay. Aurora likes to come see us. She likes us. All right. So we're going to go down here and we're going to get started on this pattern. All right. So let me switch things here. I might get it together yet. About 8 hours more sleep, I'll be fine. All right, now I am going to zoom down into here and we're gonna, let me get my zoom. Watch it. I don't want to make anybody sick. Okay. So there we go. Now, can everybody see this part? Okay. I hope you can. Okay. Because I'm going to show you something. All my fellow students that were in class before, y'all remember this? this doily. We had made this doily to make a sun catcher out of. Well, I never got around to finishing the sun catcher. But do you know what doily this is? This is the doily we're working on. Okay? This is the finished doily itself. Now, I added beads because we were making a sun catcher. Okay? So the beads would catch the sun, right? And sparkly. And I was going to mount it inside one of those brass rings. Okay? Right, Anna. Right. Now, if you notice, this one is laying flat. Kathy brought it to my attention about it puckering up on her. Well, if you look at this one, this is the one we're working on right now. Do you see what the difference is between this one and this one? Can anybody tell me what the difference is? Oh, beads always add a bit of sparkle to everything and makes it look better, Anna. Gotta do the beads. I will tell y'all a secret Jane Everall told me at Tat Days. Do you know she prefers putting beads on her tatting, especially her doilies? Would you like to know why? She uses the beads because when she folds the doilies up, it makes them lay flatter and it stabilizes the tatting. That was the neatest thing I had heard in a long time. And it gives you all the reasons in the world to use beads in your tatting. Okay? So there you go. All right, now, do you all recognize what the problem would be between this pattern and this one, this doily and this one? Can y'all see what the problem could be? This is not one of my favorite colors, first of all. Right, Kathleen. And you know, when you use a larger picot, okay, you do tend to add same thread size, Anna. This is size 20 and so is this. It's got to do with the joining picots. I did my joining picots larger so you could see what I was doing. Okay. This is what they should be like, very tiny picots. And it draws all this in together. When you increase the size of your picots, it makes the tatting go outward. Well, your chains don't compensate for the larger picots. Your rings don't compensate for that. You have to add extra stitches to compensate for your longer picots. That is why it's important to know how many picots does it take to make each size, how many double stitches does it take to make each sized picot? I knew it would come out. Y'all have to bear with me. No sleep just does me no good. That's right. Pattern should give you picot size, but rule of thumb is joining picots should be barely visible. Now, is that true in all patterns? Does anybody know the answer to that? Is that true in all patterns? Aurora, don't say nothing yet. Harold, don't say anything. I want to see if they know. We've talked about this before. Yeah, it's not true. It depends on how the pattern is designed. And it also depends on where the joins are. All that has bearing on the final outcome. So here's what I do. If the designer chooses the size of picot, they should tell you what it is. That way the pattern will lay the way it's supposed to. Most designers will give you leeway because you can stretch as you're blocking, okay, and make that pattern lay like it should. Or you can wet it because it's cotton. You can wet it, it'll shrink back up. Okay, it stretches and it shrinks. That's the beauty of cotton. I tell you something, wear cotton clothes. If you gain a lot of weight, it'll grow with you. Okay, get them wet, they get bigger. I'm just saying. All right, cotton grows. All right, you're right. Not all joining picots are small, but you have to look at what the final product the designer did looks like. And if you look at this, and all her picots are joining sized picots. Okay, so when you see the picture, that gives you a more definitive size on your picots, and you want to get as close as you can to what the picture says, what the picture looks like. Okay, you don't want mile-long picots if they're little bitty ones in the picture. Okay, so you gauge it like that, and with cotton thread, it gives you that stretch and give that you need in order for it to fit like it should. Okay, it's like a puzzle. It's the best way to look at it. It's like a puzzle, and you have to put the pieces of the puzzle in a certain way so that they lay like they're supposed to. Hi, Diane. Hi, Karen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So this one is puckering. It's cupping. It's doing all kinds of stuff. But let me show you a little trick here. Even though I've got the larger picots, watch. You can stretch and you can make those chains give to get it laying flat. Okay? And you can work with it because cotton gives. Now, if you tat tightly like I do, you got to have room and give in those chains. You can pull on it. Okay? Just be careful where you start and finish when you pull, because if you pull too hard, you're going to pull your seam loose. Where you've sewed in your ends and stuff, you're going to pull it all loose. And when you're blocking, you spritz it with some water and stretch it out. And you could still use the larger picots, but it takes away from the beauty of it. But you can also use Jane's technique, okay? And you can put beads in and keep your picots uniform, okay? Because when you're using a picot gauge, if that picot gauge shifts at all, you're going to have one that's a tiny bit bigger than another one. And if you're already using big picots, that's when you're going to have this problem. The gaposis, you're going to have the picots are too long and you're causing it to gap up. And, you know, it's just going to make a mess of a beautiful pattern. And that's when tatters say, I can't tat anymore. I don't know how to do this. You do know how to do it. You just need to understand how the pattern goes together. You can't sit down to a 1,000-piece puzzle and put it together in jig time if you've never put it together before. And tatting is the same way. Never discourage yourself. Remember, tatting takes practice. As you practice, you keep getting better. And you will keep getting better. There won't be any change in you and, you know, going backwards. You're going to always go forwards. You may go at a turtle pace. You may be Speedy Gonzales pace. Whatever pace you choose that is tolerable for you is the right pace to take. Does everybody understand that? Because I hear how I can't do this all the time. And you can. It is very, very simple. Well, go ahead, Anna. I want to see it. All right. Jackie says, what steps do you go through in your mind with a new pattern to decide a picot size? Well, what I do is I grab thread that I'm not going to use for a pattern. Okay. I have some stash over here that is just cheap thread. Okay. And I tat it up. And I look at it. I tat it up using the smallest picot I can get on my joints. The decorative picots, they can be anything, okay? Because you're not joining to them. The joining picots is where your give and takes coming. So I tat it up with a very tiny picot, one you can't even see, okay? And I join it, and then I finish it, and I say, okay, it's got some cup to it. Now, if I extend that picot a little bit more, will it give me the room that I need? And the way you gauge it, these picots, you can take and put double stitches on it and measure your picots according to how many double stitches it takes to make that picot. And it will tell you whether or not you have enough give, because every one of your joints would count as a double stitch. So that will tell you how many you've got to go out if it's cupping up. Does that make sense? We're going to get more into that in the beginner classes, which, by the way, this first series, we are full. We've got 25 students. Awesome. Anna, your answer is I did. In fact, this round here was the round I put picots on the first and third, beads on the first and third picot. And then the next row got the picots on the sides of the rings with beads. You see? These are crystals. These are Swarovski, I guess that's how you say it. And these are glass beads with the metal inside. These are Mayukis. I've had these Mayukis 150 years. Yeah, third and fourth. And you can put it on other ones. I just chose to put it on that one. So, but do you see how you can play? And remember the class we did was called Playing with Picots? That was the lesson. Use your picots to either make your tatting pattern look good or really enhance it. You pick what you want out of your pattern you're working. Do you want it to have some pizzazz? Add beads. No, the sun catcher is not starched. This is just my normal tatting, okay? Now this, because it's got beads on it, is a little heavier than what my normal tatting is. If I didn't have the beads on it, this would be flat as a pancake and not puffing up, wouldn't be floating off the edge or nothing. That's how tight my tatting is. So, yeah. But you don't starch it. And let me show you the rings. Let me get one of the rings out here. I buy these by the pack. And you see, you can get them on Amazon. It's like $12 for all these different sizes. And you tat around the ring, which I'm going to teach you in the beginner class. You tat around this. Put your piece in the center. And, well, this ain't the right one. But you put it in the center. Tat around it and join as you go when you're tatting around. This is just an oversized cabone ring, the way I look at it, but it's brass springs, okay? And then you hang a hanger on it and it hangs in the window. But if you're going to do that, use crystals because they really sparkle pretty and they send all kinds of rays of different colors out, okay? We'll get into that. Don't worry. We're going to get into it. Y'all are excited. I can tell. Nope, it's not starch. I never starch my tatting. This thread here this is all Elizabeth. Okay. My junk thread, let me get that out. Move her bed out of the way. Here's some of my junk thread. This is what I get at Amazon. Okay. And I tat this up. I know as an experienced tatter, this thread here is a little thicker than my size 20. Okay. It would probably run close to a 15. Really, you want to get serious about it. It may even run into a 10. Okay. But this is pearl cotton. This is what I use to tat up when I'm testing a pattern. Hi, Jax. So be sure to get something that's cheap. I got 10 balls of this stuff for like $7. Okay. And you just tat up a little bit of the pattern. What you're doing is you're testing the thread to see how you have to do your picots to keep the cupping down to a minimum. Yes, mercerized cotton is what you want to use on your finished piece. Okay, but you want a 6-ply. When we have class Thursday for the beginners, the reason I'm not going to have experienced people, the advanced, is because I ask a question and everybody wants to answer it. I want the beginners to answer it so I can find out what level they're at, so I know how deep I need to go with certain things. Okay. So one of the things we're going to learn on Thursday is threads. Okay. You can use anything you want to tat with. Okay. Your outcome is only going to be as good as your tatting, one. But your thread is what's going to make the difference between good tatting and not so good tatting. Okay. So we're going to go through the different threads. Okay. We're going to go through the different tools you can use. Things that doesn't cost you a dime to use. All right. And then we're going to show you the things that do cost. But it's worth it for certain items to spend the extra money. There are certain items that if you spend the money, it's really not going to help you none if you don't learn the basics. So we got to go from step 1 and crawl to step 2. I want to know that you understand the in-depth concept of tatting before we go into, oh, we're doing a pattern, because there's so much backstory to it. If you don't understand it and where it's coming from, just because you know a double stitch doesn't mean you know tatting. Okay. You need to know how to put that tatting together, because there's more patterns out there that need help than not. And a lot of you have probably in and of yourself ran into a pattern that was poorly written. Okay. And when you run into those patterns, you can't work them no matter whether you flip your lid or not. You just can't work them because they're missing an important step. As you gain experience and with the knowledge you're going to learn, you'll be able to put that step into that pattern without thinking twice. Okay? You can see where you're at and what your next step should be. I can tat up a pattern. Harola has seen me do this. I can tat a pattern after I get the sequence. I don't even look at the paper. When the sequence changes, then I go back to the paper. Okay, that's the joint, and I continue on. Pam can tell you I tat like that too. Yeah, vintage ones. Oh gosh, vintage ones are hard to a beginner. And now listen, this is how our aunts, uncles, grandmas, and those, the older set, that's where they learned. And they taught us not only what they learned, but the tricks to get around the pitfalls because they had those pitfalls. So, you know, you can do this. And what makes this class so much fun is we play with patterns. A lot of people don't play with patterns. They don't dig into the heart of a pattern. And we do. Okay. And we work it out. We figure out the problems. We make notes. I mean, I've got patterns, got chicken scratch all over them. Okay. And those are my notes. And it's because the next time I want to tat it, especially if it's something I like, next time I want to tat it, those notes are there to save my bacon. Because after 150 patterns, trust me, I don't remember what that first one said. Artie, she gets a kick out of when she can riddle out an older pattern. You got it. If you can figure one out, go for it. Yeah, it did. It required stubbornness to succeed. And that is why back in the day, crochet and knitting took off. Tatting was to the elite. Lace making was to the elite. Let's put it this way, fine lace making. Okay. And it's because they used very fine threads. All right. Let me show you some of the threads. Let's see if I can get them out without causing a catastrophe here. I'm going to show y'all something here. I have a bucket of thread. All right. This is DMC thread. Right here, we have size 50. This is size 50 tatting thread. Y'all see how small that tatting thread is? Can you see that? I got it clipped shut. They're size 50. Yeah, I've tatted with it, or it wouldn't be unraveled like that. That's a little bit bigger than sewing thread. Now, what they tatted with, okay, let me get over here to no, I've got 100. Yeah, here's some 100. This is what they tatted with. This is size 100 tatting thread. That is sewing thread. Okay. This here is the largest of the threads they tatted with. I've got some 120 somewhere, but it's so old you can't use it. It's dry. Okay. And yes, I've tatted with 100. And I got news for you. This doily would be about this big in size 100. Okay. Because, well, this would be the size of this doily in 100. It would be as big as this. Okay. Now, you can use this. This is Sibylla. If you can find it overseas, you can find it. Sibylla 20 is wonderful to tat with. It doesn't have the stiffness that this has, okay, when tatted up. Reason being, okay, is because this is a 6-ply, and this here is a this isn't the coordinate. This is the coordinate special. This is a gas singed thread, okay, mercerized. This is mercerized. There's a difference. Don't ask me what the difference is. I just know this has a softer texture and it also lays softer. Okay, so you want some really old thread? I got some in here. Here we go. There's some old thread. Y'all see that? This is size 70. This is Starcraft. That's old. So, you can use all kinds of thread. But there's some that, in here that I'll use to sample with. I have threads to sample with. All right. I don't make doilies and stuff that are all white. No. You don't have all white anything in my house. Never did. And the reason being, I had 3 boys. 3 boys that played in every ounce of mud they can find within 10 miles of the house. So that's what I'm saying. You can tat with any thread you want. You want to tat with sewing thread? Get you some sewing thread. Carola tats using, isn't it quilting thread, Carola? I think it's quilting thread. And her work comes out so pretty, and it's so dainty, and it's so tiny, and I like that. There are certain things that dainty and tiny and delicate needs. Okay, earrings, you need it tiny, delicate. Okay, and you can do it. You can use polyester embroidery thread. Machine embroidery threads. You can use that. I've used it. I've tatted with it. Boy, that sucker is small. Yeah, Coates and Clark used to put out some of the best tatting thread. So, the bottom line is your tatting's only as good as your experience, and it only shines as pretty as your thread. You use cheap thread and don't hone in your skill, your tatting's going to reflect it. It's not going to be pretty. So you make the decision what you want out of your tatting and stick with it. And take your time. This doesn't happen overnight. Okay? It happens when it's ready to happen. When it clicks. When it sets in and you say, oh, I got it. That's when you've got it. And you're going to know. And I mean, you light up. You light up when it happens for you. Yeah, there's no race in tatting. Tatting is meant to be relaxing. Those people with the 20 bobbins for bobbin lace, and then they add another 20 and another 20, and they got a stack of these bobbins sitting on their table, and they're flipping them this way and that way and this way. I couldn't handle that. That would make me a nervous wreck. I love the look of what they do, but there's no way my nerves would let me do something like that, because I am the type that it has to be right. If it's not right, throw it away. You don't know how much thread I have thrown in the trash because it just was not working right. And when it gets to the point that it's aggravating me, I say, okay, I'm putting you away for right now. I'm sorry, Jax. Exactly. Use what you can see with when you start, and then try the smaller threads, as Teresa said. That's the only way to go. I mean, when I first started tatting, I was using size 3 thread, okay? Which we got some. There's some size 3 dope here. And we're going to use that for the beginner class. So yeah, use what you've got. But I want you to see what you are doing. I'm going to tell you all that are going to be there for the beginner class. You need size 10 thread, 2 colors, 1 light, 1 dark, your choice, 2 shuttles. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Mavis. And that just, yeah, oh Lord, that I drop my shuttles enough. I mean, if I dropped 1 bobbin and then the whole thing, I'd just pick it up and there'd be a trash can. Right in the trash it would go. I would not mess with it. That's a fact, Jack. All right, so let's get on with this. Did you all do the second row? Did you get it done over to here? Your last round. Did you get it? You know, you've got the chain and you're going to join with another ring here, and then you've got the 3 picot 3 chain here at the top. Did y'all get to that? Exactly, Kathy. Exactly. I do that. And when I put my needlework in, or my tatting in timeout, that's when I go to my sewing. You're on the 4th row. Anybody having any difficulties with any other row past here? You shouldn't have, because these are all ring and chain rows. Awesome. Awesome. Do you like that lark's head join? You started over and made the second going counterclockwise. Oh, good, good. I like it too. The lark's head join makes a huge difference in the way the tatting looks when it's finished. All right. Row 3 was the most difficult row because you had the 2 different chains. I'm going to use this because it's easier to see. You had the 2 rings joining to the picot, and then you had this 3 picot 3. Then you went and did the 3 picot 5 picot 5 picot 3, and then into the 2 rings again. Getting those chains straight in your head with the 2 rings, that was just beyond my level of comprehension for about 2 days. Do you know I got to this point at 12:30 last night while it was raining and storming, and I had my dog up on my shoulder? That's why it looks so bad. So, you know, patterns like this, you really have to focus in on so you don't miss count, because you have to rip all this out. That's no fun. Or take a pair of scissors and cut everything out. And then you cut your picot, and guess what? You got to cut it back one more. Then you're back to the main part, and you end up cutting the picots on that. Yeah, that was a tough row. But the other rows are all ring and chains. The difference is your chain count, but it's not the double join together. That's why this round was so difficult. The 2 rings joined into the same picot threw you off. You automatically wanted to go on. And these, you're going to go on. So the different counts won't affect you. All right. Now, on this outer round, the floret edging, the way this would work, if you try to put it on all the picots here, that's going to make it bunch up too much. Okay. If you want to have it a little more open, you can skip picots. This is a trial and error finishing round. Okay. Now, this pattern for the floret edging will fit nicely by skipping a picot in between. Okay. And then if you do that, where you'd want to skip the picot is this one here, where the 2 rings meet right here. Okay. And then you join here, do your work up, and this would set, this little floret piece right here would set right above these 2. And it would really enhance that. But you can also put them on every picot, and it's going to give you a frilly floral look around the edge. This is up to you. This is where you get to play designer. What do you want? Okay. And if you're going to play designer, play designer. If you don't want to use this floret edging, use another edging. But I want to see what you do with the edge on here. I'm not going to show it to you. I want you to do it. We've done the floret edging as we've done this before in class. But I want to see what you guys come up with on here. Now I've given you 2 ways to use the floret edging. You can use any edging you want. You can create your own. Okay? What? What's wrong, Kathy? Step outside the box. You need to step outside the box. You got this. I know you do. I have all the faith in you. This is a test. I want to see what you all can do. Because what we got coming up, you're going to have to use your imagination on a lot of this. You're lost at what point? Tell me what you're lost at. I'll walk you through it. You have test anxiety. You read the pattern on the edging. You read the pattern on this edging. I told you this is one of my favorite edgings. This is for another project. What's confusing? Do you want me to walk you through the pattern? Hi, Julianne. Let me get everything untangled here, and I'm going to walk you through it. All right? Just watch what I'm doing after I get it all straightened out. Right now, it's best friends with itself. Let me get my picot gauge. Now, I'm going to get it around to where as if we were starting a new one. All right? So, oh, well, it helps if I get the right one, doesn't it? Yeah, my brains are mush today. Which side are we on? Ah, backwards. Backwards, backwards. Okay. Eyeballs work. They're wanting to close. I'm just being honest. They're tired. You like that, Anna? This is what I take with me. This is my don't think about it tatting. All right. This pattern is the chains are 4 and 8s. The ring is 1s. Okay. I got that down to an art now. Here we go. We got to go 4 double stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Now we're going to join right here. I have a tiny picot. Y'all see how small that picot is? You can't even see it, can you? See it? It's a dot. That's my join. Take it and join. Got to grab the thread first. Does no good to bring the hook through unless you got thread attached. Just saying. All right. Now, we've got to do 8 picot 8 right there. That's this chain here. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, now we got a picot we got to stick in there. Now, if we were going to join to this pattern, okay, because we're working on the back side, we turn our pattern over, so we're working on the back side of the doily. So all of our picots stay the same, all right? Now, we just grab down through there on that picot, and we grab our thread and we would pull it through. It helps again if you just grab the thread. Don't ask me why I'm having trouble. Hook it on your finger and then run your shuttle through, and that would join it to that picot. Okay? Now I'm going to take that back out because that's not what I want to go on there. So, because I'm not attaching this, I'm going to go ahead and put a very small picot in. Another one of them dots. Watch my dot come in. There it is. It's barely visible. Okay? Helps if I do this right. Oh, yeah. I should have took a nap. A big, long nap. Like one that lasts 3 days. All right. There we go. I got it. Now, I got my dot in. All right. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yeah, I know I'm moving fast. Y'all know double stitch. Now we got to have another picot right here to join the next row too, like I did back here. All right, so we're going to put in that picot. It's going to be another dot. Bring it over, close her up. And there's my dot right there. Okay, that's my picot. And we need 4 double stitches. We've already got 1 here. So we're going 2, 3, and 4. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to bring it around and we're going to lock join. Now, what a lock join is we are using the thread off of the shuttle to create the join. So you go down here in the picot, the dot that I make, and you grab your thread. Got to pull it tight so you got a good grip on it. Got the wrong one. Let me get it. There we go. Pull it up through. Again, you must grab thread. I don't know why I'm having difficulties grabbing thread today. It just does not want to be hollered at today. It says I don't want to be bothered. Make sure you remove the twist, loop it on your finger, bring your shuttle up through, and when you pull this down, you make sure that chain is up next to that picot. Then you pull it down tight and lock it in. And that is called a lock join or a shuttle lock join. Okay? Now, we have to do 4 more double stitches. We're going up the peak. Okay, so we go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're at the top. Guess what? We reverse our work. Finally, folks, we get to reverse our work and we go right into our first ring. You got that, Kathy? Do you see what I'm doing? When you make the lace, you attach it after, or if you're gonna attach it to the doily, you attach it as you go. Okay? If you're attaching it to material, you attach it, you sew it on. Trust me, don't tat on material. We're going to get into that in the beginner group. Okay? When I get through with you with beginner classes, you're going to be an intermediate. Okay. This is Elizabeth thread, and it's thread number 605, size 20. Okay. It's a gray. And I got this for a special project I'm working on. Can't tell anybody what it is. It's a secret. And it's for one of my grandkids. She loves lace. And I'm making her something special for Christmas. So I can't say what it is. Because she does watch her grandma on camera. Yes, practice it before you try it. Get you some inexpensive thread. Okay. Try it with one color first. If you're going to do two colors, remember you got that knot to contend with. Okay, Kathy? But remember, this is something we are going to work with in class. Yeah, it's a very light gray. It's like a silver tone to it. I thought it was gorgeous when I got it. It's got like a hint of blue to it when I see it. Just a very hint of blue tones. And that's what sets it off. So, but yeah, if you have any problems, Kathy, send me an email. I'll walk you through it, babe. I get you going. Pam, can we put one more in for Thursday's class? If you think we can fit one more in, let me know. Yeah, I'll do the flower part for you. Why? You don't know how to do it? I thought you knew how to do that. You taught a class on it, remember? Remember? We have room for 4 more? Okay. Go ahead and put Julianne in there. Okay? Julianne, we got class on Thursday. We start the new classes on Thursdays for beginners only. Now, these are 1 picot 1. Now, I chose this picot. This is a 1/8 inch, it says, but I don't believe it for a minute because I think 1/8 of an inch is a lot smaller than that. This looks more like a quarter to maybe a 1/2 inch, to be honest. Let's look. I don't know why it says 1/8. Probably got stuck on there from another one. Or it could be something else it was. I don't know. It's bigger than a 1/4 inch. But it gives the lacy effect to the flower. That's what I think. That's why I chose that one. Now, we got our first double stitch in. We put our picot in that picot gauge in there. And on this pattern, I do advise using a picot gauge because you want your flower to be even all the way around, okay? And it's got 7 picots. This is 2. And this is 3. Now this one I make a small dot picot because it's a joining picot. Okay? And then we put in 3 more. That's 2. Let me take my finger out and put the 3rd one in. And this one's 3. All right, then we're going to close that ring. No, I'm not posting my shuttle. I don't want to get into that today about posting the shuttle. I'll explain that in the beginner class. Most of y'all know about posting your shuttle. Now, what I like to do is take my hook or my crochet hook, pick on the end of my shuttle, and I adjust all of my picots so they fan out like little bitty flowers and it looks all pretty and dainty. Okay? And y'all start practice doing that because it does help. And then I tighten that ring up, pull back on it, tighten it up again so we don't have any gaposis down here in the bottom. All right. All right. Let's see who slipped in here. Corinne, hi. Pam, put Corinne on if she should be on. I thought she was. If not, put her in there. It is a pretty edging. This is the vintage pattern too. You saw what you needed. What do you need? Yeah, that Chantilly edging is gorgeous. If you need me, send me a text, send me an email, and I'll walk you through whatever you have a problem with. But be sure, test yourself. Okay, before you attach to your doily, test it. Make sure you know what you've got going, because the last thing you want to do is tear anything out, because once you get it to this pretty stage, you don't want to mess it up. The reason you don't want to tat on fabric is, like Aurora said, fabric wears out before tatting wears out. If you've sewn it on, you can snip on the back of the fabric where you've sewn on and not destroy your tatting and remove the tatting and put it on something else. If you sew the tatting in as, tatted on, you can't do that. You will ruin your outer row where it's attached, because you have to cut your picots. You wanted to see how I did the picot gauge with the flower part. I thought you knew how to use that picot gauge with the flower part. Wait a minute, your needle. That's why. If you do it with needle, yeah, that picot gauge is going to give. I have a trick for needle tatters that I used. Okay. And it worked. I took a marker. Okay. And you want a marker that doesn't wipe off, a permanent marker. You can use nail polish too and let it dry. And I marked hash marks on my needle, okay, for the picot measurements. And I numbered the measurements, and I'm 1, 2, whatever. And if I needed a large picot, it was on there. So I measured using those marks on my needle without having to use a picot gauge, because when you're fighting with the needle and you're using a picot gauge, that picot gauge slips, rolls, and does everything. So I took and put a magic marker on it right there. I got some magic markers got a fine, very fine point to them, and it went right on there, and I had all the little hash marks on my tatting needle of what size picot. So there, that's a little trick for you needle tatters. Yes, well, that's why they had so many maids and service people back then. There was people that were designated to do just that. You're welcome, Janella. So did everybody get some help on things that they needed today? Let me switch cameras here. Get my mouse going. Come on, mouse. Wake up and say hello. And we're back. Yep, it's royal edging. That's what it is. It's royal edging. Pam, can you give the link for the edging, please? Oh, thank you all. You're a joy to be around. Exactly. You know, we have these special get-togethers, you know, for Super Bowl Sunday and things like that. I'd like to do those more often and just call them a tat and chat day, and everybody bring their tatting and we all tat and chat together. And that way, whatever you're working on, I can answer the questions. See, you got a problem? I can fix it. So, any more questions, folks, before we close out the class? Because that black cloud's getting blacker over there. Aurora wants one of those crowns. I wished I could give you one. I don't know how. That's something YouTube's doing. I'm not doing that. Yes, chocolate is a must for y'all, but I got to lose weight, so no chocolate for me. I can dream of chocolate. Yeah, pop up tatting. That sounds like fun. Well, thank you, Julianne. I know a lot of you are excited about Thursday's class. Now, there's going to be a couple of experienced tatters in there so that they can tell you some things about tatting that has put them in the position they're in today. Oh, I appreciate the fact you all come to listen and learn, and you love tatting as much as I do. Even that's got calories, Pam. I got to start counting calories. Yeah, the storms are coming, and it's right now 92 here. So yeah, the humidity's up, the storms are coming. Yes, ma'am. There will be an email go out with the link just like you get now, but it will be a closed classroom until after class. And then you all are going to have a special place on YouTube for your classes to go, your own category, so that you can go back and review the class after class because I'll make it public after the class. Oh, I hope you do too. Awesome. Awesome. I can't say, Janella. I'm sorry, I can't say. There's reasons behind that. Anna, you can text Janella or Pam and explain. It's too hot for me too. I keep thinking if I go outside, I'll be in a sauna and I'll drop a few pounds. No. Oh, I will be. I will be. Don't worry. We've been down this rodeo before. We went through hurricanes and everything. That Hurricane Helene come through, and then we got Milton the very next 2 weeks later, and we went through both of those. Um, when we went through Milton, I mean, that was a slam dunk. I'll be honest with you. Helene come through. It was pretty rough, but we was all right. It doesn't matter, Janella. It doesn't matter. Um, she's using fall colors. I'm going to let you all decide on that. If you look at the bouquets, all those colors she picked. Yeah, no white. No white. She's using off whites and ivories for the white tones. She's a widow. So, and her and my son met and they hit it off, and went from 4 grandkids to 6 real fast. So there you go. And I tell you something, I wouldn't trade nothing in the world for my grandkids. They are the best. I got some beautiful grandchildren, if I say so myself, and I'm just being partial. Just saying. That's okay, Kathy. You have a good day. I'll talk to you later, hon. I'll see you on Thursday. All right, folks. You contact Pam. She's got the address where you mail it to. It's my mail forwarding service, and they will get it to me. They know how to track me down. They notify me as soon as they get something. All right, Aurora. I'll see you next week. Love you. Stay safe. Ah, she got a crown. Awesome. All right, folks. I am going to call it a day. And I will see you guys next week. I will see the beginners on Thursday. Until then, may all your threads make beautiful lace, and have a great week, guys. Love y'all. Bye.